What's up? What's up? What's up, Warrior family? It's me, Miss Diva Pain Warrior, and I am coming to you all with the tea, okay? A story time. A story time. Y'all have to excuse me. I am out of breath. I told y'all in my medicine bag video that that's a common thing for me, and with the fall and the ragweed or whatever, I just have a hard time breathing. But I ain't gonna let that stop me. I'm gonna go on anyway. So, I am going to tell y'all the tea about how I got fired from my teaching job. So, if you are interested, stay tuned. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and listen. Comment, okay? Because I like to hear from y'all. I am going to tell y'all the whole unadulterated truth about how I got fired from my teaching job. All right? You ready? 5, 4. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to get dressed while I'm talking to y'all because I have to multitask. I got to pick my children up, and I still wanted to be able to chit-chat with you all. So, let's start from the beginning. I had left my one job, my one teaching job, and gone to a new teaching job. And I worked that job for a year. I had, at the time, I think I had 13 years of teaching experience when I started. And so I was going into my 14th year. So I did that year real good, and I didn't have many problems. I had fibromyalgia. Well, the doctors had said it, but I hadn't really fully embraced that diagnosis. I was trying to keep pushing and getting steroid injections for my back and just doing a multitude of things trying to see if they would work. That's what I put on my face, y'all. Anyway, so that following year, that August, I came back to work. And the doctors had already started to talk about me having another back surgery. Well, at that point, I was going to work in pain every day. And truthfully, I was missing a lot of days. And I would get up in the mornings to try to go to work, and some days my body just wouldn't move. So I would have to call in at the last minute. Well, if you are a teacher or anything where you have to get somebody to fill in or whatever, you know that that is kind of frowned upon. So I'm sure that my administrators were tired of me being sick or whatever. But I was trying to keep them as fully up to date as I could. At the time, I did not have a date for my back surgery. This was my second back surgery. And you know, if you've ever had a big surgery like that, the spinal fusion, the 360 is one of the biggest surgeries that you can have. And so you know that the insurance goes through their haggling process and trying to figure out, have you done this, that, and the other. So it may take 2 or 3 months for them to approve it. So I had already spoken to my principal and told them that I was planning to have back surgery, and that it would probably be in January. So they needed to start looking for a long-term sub. Because, you know, principals sometimes have long-term subs that they prefer. Well, I'm going to cut this story short as I can. When December came, the first part of December came, I still did not have a surgery date. But at that point, I was in so much pain that I could barely make it to my classroom. And my classroom is upstairs. So I was having to come all the way from the car, which was a long distance. Even though I was parking in the student parking lot trying to make it, it was still a long distance. Coming all the way from my car to my classroom. I wasn't signing in because there was some more steps to take, and I wasn't able to do that. So I was coming in, getting in, and taking all these heavy medicines, Percocet 4 times a day, the maximum dose of Percocet, the 10 milligram, I believe, 4 times a day, trying to maintain. And the Percocet had me so fuzzy that I was also taking the Adderall to try to keep my brain clear. And again, I still hadn't fully accepted the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. So I kept thinking personally that once I had this surgery, I would be able to go back to work. Now, remember, this was my second back surgery. So after the first back surgery, I went back to work. So I thought I didn't go back immediately, but I went back to teaching. I actually had my first one in 2010, and this was in 2014. So I went back to teaching for about 3 or 4 years. So it wasn't, it wasn't right then. But anyway, so I thought that after I had this surgery, because this is supposed to be the big one, this is the last resort, that I would be able to go back to work. So I kept telling my principal, when I get my date, I'll let you know, yada, yada, yada. They called me down for a meeting because I was getting behind on my paperwork. I was coming in as best I could, but I just was behind on my paperwork because I was in pain. I was in so much pain and taking so much medicine that all I really was doing was coming in. I was teaching, but I was teaching from a seat. Doing PowerPoints, whatnot. I had the kids running that, and I had a tall stool with a back on it, and I was teaching from that and trying to move around a little bit and just trying to maintain. But I wasn't posting grade. I was posting, but I wasn't I was posting the daily grades, but those final, when you get ready to do the report card stuff that you have to do and exporting grades. That's what I should say. I wasn't exporting on time, and we had a lot of different things supposed to be doing online. I wasn't doing none of that. And I was naive because I thought that since I had a good administrative team, they were good. They still are good, I assume. This ain't about them. This is about my story. But I was naive in that I thought that since I was keeping them abreast of what was going on in my life, that they would kind of give me a break. But anyway, they called me down for the meeting and said that I had missed a third of my days, and asked me what my plan was. And my principal was frank with me. She said that, you may need to try to find something else to do. And I told her I couldn't do nothing else. I was in pain and that I was just waiting for my surgery date. And once I got my surgery date, I was going to be out. And I did tell them, I guess at this point, it was about 2 weeks to the end of the semester. So maybe early December. So anyway, I did tell them that I was not coming back after Christmas because I was just in so much pain. And I was hoping that my surgery would be the first part of January. So, all right, long story short, I went out for Christmas. I got my grades posted, and I packed up a few of my little things, just my pictures, and basically that's it. Personal things that weren't, part of the decoration for the classroom. So my pictures and my personal family pictures and little things like that, because I wasn't sure if I would be back. I didn't know what the doctor was going to say at that point. The insurance had approved it, but they had not given me a date. But I had requested the soonest date that they could get. So I packed it up just in the event that I ended up having surgery the first part of January and not coming back. So I left for Christmas, and I had surgery in January. Nobody from my job called. Not even my so-called friends and co-workers, the people I hung with. Nobody called to see how I was doing. Nobody called to see if I was okay. Nobody called to see if I had made it out alive. Nobody. And I should have known then that something was up. So, long story short, I keep saying that, but I keep making a long story, right? So I'm going to have to do a part 2 because I don't like long videos. So I'm gonna tell you about the fire, and then we'll do part 2 where I talk about after I got fired. So anyway, the doctor put me off work for 12 weeks, and I called the central office and told them the date, and I told them that I would be off for 12 weeks, and that I was not able to do the paperwork, but if they would fax it to me, yada, yada, yada. The young lady said, I will call you back and I will get it back to you, and so forth and so on. Well, I didn't hear nothing back, and I really didn't think anything of it, because remember, this is my second back surgery. So in my first surgery, even though I was with a different system, I didn't have to do anything but sign the paperwork. My principal had taken care of my leave and all those things. So I just thought that since, these people knew what I was going through, and the time that I was having, and they had the comparison of the work I had done the previous year, so they knew that I was capable and had a mind and a heart for it. I just thought they had taken care of it. Well, I said the end of March, I got a letter that said that I had been terminated. They had the hearing without me. I did not get a notice of the hearing. And it said that they had no idea that what was wrong. I had multiple absences, and they did not know why, and that I was a no call, no show. That's what they said. Well, y'all know that wasn't exactly true, because I already told you what was going on. But I guess they did what they had to do to get a new teacher in the room, and so it is what it is. But that is the story of how I got fired. And for a long time, I would tell people that I left my job when I had my back surgery. I would tell people that I retired, even though I was not yet 40. I would tell all kind of things, but I didn't tell anybody that I got fired. And finally, I decided that I had to just go ahead and speak the truth and claim my truth. And the truth was that I had been fired. That's what's in my hair, y'all. Can you see that? Okay. Anyway, the truth was I had been fired. I was very embarrassed, because anybody that knows anything about the education system knows that people don't get fired unless they have done something really wrong. They have abused the children or something of that nature. And so I was concerned that if people learned that I had been fired from my teaching job, they would think that I had done something really wrong. And the truth was I had not. I was just sick. And so they worded that firing, and never mentioned that I was sick, probably so that they could not be sued. They said that I was out a lot. They did not know why, that I was no call, no show, and that's what they did. And the truth is, I didn't have the strength to fight. And so for a long time, I wouldn't say anything. And then finally, I didn't go out the house. I had no income at all. Nothing. And so I was embarrassed, because I could not maintain the standard of living that I was used to, because I'm the diva. I was used to having my good makeup on and my cuteness. Even though I was in pain, I still was getting my nails done and my toes done, and getting waxed and wearing cute clothes and stylish things, and trying to maintain. But after I lost my income without any preparation, none. I did not know I was going to be fired. I got a check in December. I got a check in January, because teachers kind of run behind. And I knew I wasn't going to get a check when I was out, but I didn't realize this was a permanent status. Because now, y'all, we talking 4 years later, I've not received any check. No disability, no nothing. But we'll talk about that in part 2. So, yeah, I got myself together. And finally, I said, you know what? I'm going to fluff my hair up, put on my makeup, put on my cute clothes, and I'm going to go to church. And so, y'all, I went to church, and I was feeling good and enjoying it and in the spirit. And I looked over, and guess who I saw? My principal. All right, y'all. So I just wanted to set y'all up. I'm going to get back to you later with part 2. I love you. And now you know how I got fired from my teaching job. Make sure you share, like, comment, Mwah. And I'll be back to y'all with part 2 to tell y'all all about how this went down after I got fired. That's when things began to get a little shysty, y'all. Talk to you later.